count down to the next electoral battle between the NDA as well as the India Bloc in Bihar. The Election Commission's special intensive revision process is facing the test of the Supreme Court. As the top court hears the case, top sources have told Times Now that the Election Commission has now submitted its affidavit in the case and has responded to some of the questions that were raised by both the opposition as well as the Supreme Court. Let's now take you through the Elections Commission's detailed response to the Supreme Court. This is the answer that the EC has given to the top court. Now, in its defense of the special intensive revision that it is carrying out in Bihar, the Election Commission has said that the period for enumeration in Bihar is not too short. This, remember, was one of the concerns that had been raised by the Supreme Court, also being mentioned by the opposition. Why this time? Why such a short time for it? These were some of the questions that had been raised. The Election Commission has said that the timing is in keeping with the past intensive revisions. The revision that being undertaken now is not being done in a hurry. Apart from that, another defense that has been put forth is that the Election Commission does have the authority to seek proof of citizenship in the special intensive revision. In fact, on the question of Aadhaar as well, it has responded and has said that Aadhaar cards do not actually help in screening of the eligibility, and that's the reason why it is not being considered. And many judgments stated that Aadhaar isn't citizenship proof. So remember, the Election Commission has gone to the Supreme Court and has cited the court's own judgment where it has gone on to say that Aadhaar card is not actually proof of citizenship. Apart from that, in its defense, the Election Commission has said ration cards also can't be used because there is a rise in the fake ration cards. Now, it's also important to note that the Supreme Court had specifically questioned the Election Commission over some of the more commonly available documents that have been omitted from the EC's list. This, of course, no doubt also includes the ration cards as well as the Aadhaar cards. The Supreme Court had asked whether the Aadhaar card and the ration card could be considered as valid documents for the exercise. The opposition has also questioned why several documents like the Aadhaar card as well as the voter ID were not actually considered as part of the eligibility criteria. But let's tell you what the Election Commission has said to justify it. As we played out for you the reasons that have been mentioned by the Election Commission, it in fact also makes a mention in particular about Aadhaar card as well. And here's what the Election Commission has gone on to say. It says that Aadhaar card is not a proof of citizenship. It goes on to say that it is considered as a supplementary document. It is not an acceptable document in itself. It's only a supplementary document. Apart from that, it has also spoken about voter ID not being acceptable. One of the issues that has been raised by the opposition is, if they already have a voter card, then what is the objection? Why should they still provide more proof of citizenship? So the Election Commission, in its response to the Supreme Court, has said that we can't actually accept the voter ID cards in this fresh revision process because voter ID was issued based on the existing voter roll, and there is a revision of the entire roll. So in this case, the voter roll in itself is being revised. So how is it that it can be a proof? Apart from that, going on to say, the EPIC or the voter IDs is only being considered for identity. So it can be a part of the identity, but it can't actually be proof of identification or citizenship. Apart from that, another issue that had been raised by the Supreme Court itself. Remember, the Supreme Court itself had mentioned if Aadhaar card and ration cards can also be accepted. But the Election Commission says that it would not be possible because there is a existence of a lot of fake ration cards, saying that it is widespread. Remember, Election Commission has gone on to say that there are many ration cards that are fake and are currently existent. So this is not going to make the roll revision very authentic. My colleague Harish is joining us on the broadcast. He's got us the details of what the Election Commission has said in the affidavit as well. Harish, this is very, very significant. In the previous hearing, the Supreme Court had questioned why Aadhaar card and ration card can't be used as proof. This is a very detailed response that has come in from the Election Commission. Take us through what the Supreme Court had said then and what next.
In fact, this is a big development in the Bihar special intensive revision of electoral rules matter. Election Commission has filed an affidavit in the Supreme Court defending the special intensive revision of electoral rules. And as you rightly said, it has rejected Supreme Court's plea to consider Aadhaar, voter ID, ration card as documents for inclusion in the voter list. It says Aadhaar is not a proof of citizenship. Remember, Supreme Court 2, it says that Supreme Court 2 earlier held that Aadhaar is not a proof of citizenship, and also says voter ID can't be allowed as disease of fresh revision of electoral laws, and ration card also cannot be considered as there is a widespread existence of fake ration cards. Remember, Supreme Court had asked the Election Commission to consider these three documents in the interest of justice, and very significantly, as you rightly said, Pratibha, Election Commission also says it has the right to verify citizenship, but assures citizenship of an individual won't be terminated on account of being held ineligible as an elector. And let me say what the Supreme Court had said in its July 10 interim order. They had said it would be in the interest of justice if the Election Commission of India also considers the following three documents such as Aadhaar card, electoral photo identity card, ration card, as these documents would satisfy most of the voters. Therefore, in our preliminary view, it would be in the interest of justice if the Election Commission also considers these documents. But going for this affidavit, giving detailed reasons, the Election Commission of India has rejected Supreme Court's plea to consider these three documents as also a proof of consideration and also inclusion in the electoral laws. Back to you.
Okay, all right. Harish, thank you for joining us with those details. In fact, the hearing in the Supreme Court is also going on at a time when there is also a lot of politics playing out over the same. And the political war over the Election Commission's role revision exercise is only intensified.